Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, everybody. Hi, everybody. Sorry you weren't able to hear me. Welcome to our Zorra call for today, being June the 2nd, 2024. We have got a great call for everyone. And, of course, a lot of things are moving forward in our direction already. I mean, people are getting really excited. So, but before we start there, I do want to say that our special guest for today is Dr. Tom, and with his updates, as well as Sandy Whiteley, and who's going to be talking also. We'll be talking with her a little bit more about the veils and this transition from 3D to 5D. So with that without any more delay, let's go ahead and bring Zorra through, because I know she has a special message for all of us. All right, Zorra, ready?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of you people out there.
Excuse me, Zorra. Before you get started, tell people a little bit about, how you're feeling about today or the next few days, or tell us where you're at in your present moment.
Expectant.
Okay.
Very expectant of your blessing that's on its way. Anyway, I'm going to be reading from Diane Robbins' book, and it is her website is www.DianeRobbins.com. Now, if you want to get her books, order them directly from her. That way she gets most of the proceeds from the sale of the books. And or you can get them on Amazon or any other bookseller if you wish to go that route. But anyway, the book I'm going to read from is called Messages from the Crystal Kingdom. Now, a lot of you people out there, you have crystals. You have quartz crystals for necklaces, earrings, things of that nature, but you don't know the true meaning of them. And but right now I'm going to read, it's a poem called The Gnomes. Now, gnomes are little people, of course, and you usually no more than about 6 to 9 inches tall. So, and they're very, very musical. They like to dance a lot, and they're in and around you all the time. So here we go. We are the gnomes, all gathered around you in your home, and speaking through telepathic phone. That is spelled Gnomes, with a silent G. For we tiptoe so quietly and touch the petals of a flower to release its cosmic light substance shower, sprinkling you as you pass along while singing melodies to you in song. We work with goddesses Virgo deep down inside Earth, tending the gemstones for their use and rebirth. The gemstones will activate you from within as you hold them and wear them against your skin. We travel in groups down caverns deep and do our work while people sleep. We come to the surface when we are through, just in time to meet the dew, as it collects on flowers, grasses, and trees, and gives them the cosmic light substance they need. For dew is the combination of water and air, spreading its life force everywhere. So why do we gnomes wear a cap on our head? Why isn't our head flat like yours instead? Our stocking cap covers our pineal gland when we're on the surface. For many people can now see us, and we're here in service, tending flowers, grasses, and trees. And many have raised their vision and can see us. A son would say it's melatonin we take, but we assure you it's not. It's just that our pineal gland did not stop growing. So we just keep evolving while humanity fell, and you drifted into a million-year spell. We are part of an elemental kingdom, although little known, and we thank you for inviting us to your home. And now we begin the tale of old of why we gnomes never grow old. Our secret is the stocking cap we wear on our head, which covers our pineal gland, which protrudes from the center of our crown, and straight up through the pineal gland is our antenna, and lights our way as we work in deep and dark caverns. We never go astray. We always know exactly where we are, and the distance we've covered thus far. Our pineal gland is our compass and points the way to our destination. So we don't falter with hesitation. The lights the path as we walk along, like a living map lit up with song. We live along riverbanks and under lakes, tend the quarries underground, where many gemstones can be found. We touch the gemstones with the tip of our pineal gland and activate their growth deep underground until they are ready to be found. Goddess Virgo works alongside of us. It is her wisdom that we trust. We are in the service of Mother Earth and here to help you in your search. As your consciousness climbs, we will bring the location of gemstones to your mind and make them easy for you to find. Melatonin is a high and will propel you as you fly to the universe so you can explore without moving your feet from the floor. Keep taking the melatonin, and you will see how your scope of vision opens to all that can be. So we are so gentle. We are so kind. Just hold us in your mind, and you will see us in a very short time. And the last part I want to read to you is a formula for coming back to the love vibration. The love vibration is about how to bring everything we've experienced back into the vibration of love, because love is what we are. We just forgot. Our world is the result of energy and the result of thought. When we change the way we think from changes, we change and our world changes. We are the experience of love. It is and the separation has blocked our vision of seeing ourselves as love. So the remedy is not to judge thoughts. Treat them all as energy and move them into the love vibration. Bring them into the unity consciousness and remember that we are all of creation. And that's how we stay in the frequency of love. And that's our message to you from Diane Robbins.
That's beautiful, beautiful. We have people, and I want to just discuss the melatonin that you expressed in regards to people taking it. I think that, people normally take melatonin because they can't sleep. But it can also have some side effects as well. So take heed in regards to that is something that you should be taking every day. Because remember, your own body creates melatonin naturally. So I think that's all I needed to say regarding that. Do it with care. Again, if you're lacking sleep, that is something to help. But again, everything that you take, from water to whatever, vitamins and supplements and medications, we all have to remember, what our body is telling us and adhere to what it's trying to inform us. And of course, to do it more naturally is the best way. But when you're feeling any adverse effects, then I think it's time to look at this a little bit more seriously. Okay. All right. But that was a beautiful message over, in regards to who the gnomes are. That the gnomes, again, these are little creatures. And in the past, we've had actually pictures that were taken of these little gnomes out in the forest, etc. And if I could find them again, I will share them. However, they are real, just like fairies are real. We also receive, and again, if we were talking about orbs at one point, and if you take pictures, sometimes you'll see, circles or round, almost transparent, but it definitely looks like a round, like an orb, but it's translucent. And all of those they love energy, positive energy. So for those that are of a loving heart, you will notice when you take pictures of them sometimes, then you'll see some orbs around them. And you may see them anywhere, actually, and especially more so at night if you take a camera and kind of look around. If you live near a forest or a garden or whatever, you could take a picture of things around there, and you may see little fairies and or orbs, because apparently the cameras will notice it, even though our eyes can't. Anyway, okay, beautiful beginning of our call for today. Zorra, we have about 15 minutes before we bring Dr. Tom in to talk a little more seriously about what is really coming to the forefront regarding our blessings. Or perhaps we could do that a little bit later. Maybe you could bring your father through and talk and have him talk a little bit about the orbs and or the gnomes or about CRB. So, Zorra?
I'll bring you through right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Is your dad there?
Okay, good. All right. We'll be shortly.
Okay, very good. Do you know where you're going to be
Beloved
going?
gods and goddesses. Beloved gods and
Hi,
goddesses.
Zorra. Hello.
How is
Welcome.
everyone out there in radio land or computer land or whatever it is? Anyway, but if you're wondering where Zorra goes when we change places, it depends where I happen to be. If I'm on a ship, that's where she ends up being. The other day, when she went away, she found herself on the back of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and of course her mother was also on another Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they were traipsing through the forests. So that was an experience for her for sure, but different from being on a pterodactyl. But anyway, today she happens to be walking through the forest hand in hand with my beloved Soraya. So that's where she is now. And they're just enjoying being with one another. So that's what's happening with Zorra presently. Anyway, so now concerning elemental beings, many of you, when you were children, you saw these creatures, you saw these beings, you saw gnomes, you saw fairies, and of course your parents would always tell you, you're not seeing these things. You know, it's bad for you to be seeing these things, and that's an untruth, because they are your heritage. Understand, gnomes and fairies and elves and dwarves and all this, they are here as stewards of the earth. They take care of the earth. And the more and more that you see them, it's a blessing for you to actually see them. And you can very easily see gnomes and fairies and things of this nature. A lot of people have taken pictures. They have what they call the outside security cameras with lights at night. And they have taken pictures of fairies in flight. And it perplexes them when they see these creatures with wings flying around the lights. And they can't explain it. However, there they are, flying around the light, the security lights, things of that nature. The gnomes, if you ever see a blue jay flying, sometimes you see a red spot or a red something on the head of the blue jay, red in color, and that's actually a gnome that's going for a ride on a blue jay. That's their mode of transportation on the surface. They like to abide with blue jays. So people have taken pictures of things like that, and of course they couldn't figure out why a blue jay would have a red cap on their head, but or above them, and but those are actually gnomes. Now, gnomes are very, very small people, anywhere from 2 inches up to 9 inches, and tall, and they love to frolic in the moonlight, especially in forests. They have a bonfire that they dance around whenever there's a full moon. Every time you have a full moon around Mount Shasta, you will find gnomes dancing around a small campfire. Of course, the area is all cleared out, so there's no chance of causing a forest fire. But they have this little bonfire, and they dance around it all the time. And Zorra experienced that actually in the existence of actually coming into contact with gnomes at Mount Shasta, and she saw a smoke in the forest, and she followed the smoke on a full moon night, and she came onto a bonfire that was lit. She was about ready to put it out, and then these gnomes appeared, and she was able to see them and speak with them. So they are real, but you have been so indoctrinated through so-called education and religion to not see them. And that's a shame, because they're such wonderful, beautiful beings. The fairies are, you have garden fairies, you have woodland fairies, you have fairies that are underwater, you have all kinds of fairies everywhere. And you see them all the time, especially in your peripheral vision. You can see them as well. But if you ever go out in the forest and you put your back against a tree and you're sort of relaxing, don't close your eyes entirely. Just sort of squint them a little bit, and you will see gnomes all around you. And you'll also at nighttime you'll see fairies flying around. And sometimes, even in broad daylight, you see fairies flying around too. But people just can't. It's very hard for people to comprehend this, because they've been so programmed by their parents to not see these beautiful beings or creatures. And once you do see them, you will never stop seeing them. You'll never
excuse
stop
me, Zorra.
You'll see them
I just, yes. Excuse me, Zorra. I think,
yes,
in regards to being able to have sight, which is a level beyond 3D. So for those people, if you already have sight, then you will be able to see these fairies. So when we're talking about sight, you're also talking about a higher vibrational frequency in which you move into. So the more we can raise our vibrational frequencies, the more we can, move into a realm of where the fairies and gnomes and elementals are, and actually see them. So in the meantime, you could take a camera with you and just kind of go ahead, just like they do. Other people do. They have cameras out at night, and they can see all around the house or whatever, and it'll capture these, especially the orbs and little fairies. So anyway, thank you for today's introduction into more realization of those beings that are below the surface. That's where they reside, which again is part of the inner earth beings. Is that right, Zorra?
Yes, right. They are. They're inner earth beings, of course, and of course you also have your guardians, also inner earth, and they live in a beautiful realm as well, even though they have artificial sunlight, of course. But they do have, and of course, their kingdom is lit up by fluorescence and things of that nature as well. And so once you know the truth of the crystals you wear as jewelry is more than just jewelry. The crystals are living beings too. They're alive. I mean, not that they're gonna, make contact with your skin and scare you to death, but they won't. No, they won't do that. But they are alive. They're sentient beings, of course. And then you have your all kinds of crystals. You have some crystals that are 10, 12 feet tall underground. and people have found those too. And of course, it kind of freaks them out when they see those because they're constantly growing, and so there are some cavities in the earth where you would find crystals that are 20, 30 feet tall, but still they're inside
powerful.
the earth, and they are very powerful beings. A quartz crystal in itself is a very powerful quartz crystal. And when you put it in a headband, or you put it in what's called a necklace or something of that nature, you'll feel the energy coming from it against your skin. And many people have felt enlightened or uplifted whenever they wear them. Of course, a lot of people have crystals all over their house too. We know one such person that does that.
Super high energy around you.
Oh yeah, super high energy for sure. But understand that you people have been so indoctrinated and programmed against seeing elementals, because they tell you, the religious people tell you, you're not seeing these creatures because they're of the devil and blah 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 blah. No, they're not. Now, I'm going to educate you people real fast as to the existence of the devil. It does not exist. It is a thought form and nothing more. That's it. End of story. Understand, there is evil in the world, yes, but it's not the devil and it's not Satan. It's of a negative vibration, negative nature. Negativity, your thoughts, your negative thoughts, things of that nature. Witchcraft is not of Satan. It is not of the devil. Witchcraft is the stewardship of the earth. So get that out of your head. It is not evil. Magic is not evil, according to how you use it. If you use it for good, white magic. Now, there are those who do like to dabble in the dark magic, but it has nothing to do with Satan.
Hey, Zorra, can you tell us a little bit about the involvement of the Anunnaki? The
Anunnaki are the ones that created the devil. They are the ones that created religion. The religions that you all go to worship were created by the Anunnaki.
This is not the good
to keep you under. Not the good ones, no. You have good and bad in all populations, but with the Anunnaki, you had those that were into domination. They were into slavery and things of this nature. So they messed with your DNA, and then they took away a wonderful blessing that you had in the past, the ability of mind-to-mind communications, which is called telepathy. Now, you have this deep within you. It's dormant, but it is within you. Everyone walking this planet has the ability of telepathic communications. In Hollow Earth, everyone speaks with telepathy. We hardly ever use our mouths to talk. And the only reason that I'm using the faculties of Zorra on the surface is because that's what you understand. However, in reality, telepathy would be a blessing once you learn it, because you can have communications with your friends, with your family, with your other people around you, and not say a word.
And no lies.
When you speak, and there's no lying because you know each other's thoughts, and so there's no deceiving anyone. There's no lying to anyone or anything of that nature. So once you learn the ability of telepathy, all secrets will be revealed. So never think that you're hiding something from anyone if you know how to communicate with telepathy. Telepathy is the universal language. Okay? Some people say, well, English is a universal. No, it's not. It's just a language, and not a very good one at that. But still, the universal language is telepathy, because all is revealed in telepathy. Okay. Yes. Once you learn the ability to do telepathy, and there is a process of doing that, you can do this. Yes. All of you, if you wanted to learn how to speak with telepathy, the simple process is the following. You might want to write this down. Go out into Mother Nature. If you're a woman, wear a bathing suit or a halter top or whatever, or tank top, where your back can be against a tree bareback. And if you're a man, you can take your shirt off and just put your back up against the tree. And then take your shoes off and have your feet flat on the ground, where you become grounded to the earth, and you're grounded to the tree. Now, you become quiet. You don't have any distractions with you, no iPhones, no iPads, no computers, nothing of that nature. And you are there for one purpose, and that's to hone your telepathic ability that is dormant. So you want to put your bare back against a tree, your bare feet on the ground, and you close your eyes and you concentrate. Or you can go into a meditative state if you wish. But anyway, you want to do this on a constantly until you begin to sense or feel or hear the thoughts coming from the tree. That's the first step. The second, once you have mastered that, where you are communicating back and forth with a tree, and believe me, you will communicate with the tree, and vice versa. Once you have learned how to do that, then you move on to Mother Nature as far as animals, like squirrels and birds and whatever is around you. Cougars, mountain lions, tigers, bears, whatever. You learn how to communicate with them, and your pets. That's another good start. Once you learn how to do telepathy with a tree, then you move on to your pets that you have, if you have pets. If you don't have pets, then you stay in the forest and communicate with the bears and everything else. But you'll know that you're communicating with them, because once you begin to do it, they'll come out of the trees, the squirrels will come down from the trees, and they'll get right on your body, your lap, or your leg, and whatever, and that lets you know that you're communicating with them through telepathy. Now, once you've learned that, then you move on to the higher form of life forms known as man. But I also understand that man's what you call attention span is very small. Not trying to put you down, but that's just the way it is. But you want to get someone that you trust and go skin to skin, back to back, and you start learning how to communicate with each other's minds. And once you've accomplished that, the rest is easy. And I would think we need to bring on our first guest.
Thank you, Zorra.
And I will put this device on mute.
Zorra, I think before we bring Dr. Tom in, maybe you want to give us your understanding of where we stand with the RV. And I just want to let you know that there's a lot of information out there now, that the green light has already started. We should begin to see things moving forward already next week. So where are you in your understanding?
I'm in agreement with that. That yes, your blessing is nigh, very nigh.
It's very nigh. It's here, right?
So it's imminent. Okay. So now,
okay, thanks.
Understand. A lot of the whales have already exchanged, but they're not allowed to talk about it. And some people have already had private exchanges taking place. And of course, again, they have to sign an NDA, so they can't talk about it. But still, it's happening. It's happening as we speak. People are already now exchanging all over, not just overseas in Europe, but also in America as well. So,
okay.
So the banks are quite busy today. Anyway, so that's happening. So, and you should be receiving your notifications forthwith. Okay.
All right. Excellent.
Now,
Thank you so much.
I will put this phone on mute.
And we'll talk to you later.
Mute, and yes, you'll talk to me later.
Yes. Yeah,
Namaste.
So if you have any
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, receive.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we receive great abundance, prosperity, and peace, and love, and joy, and harmony. Now, and we know
oneness.
It. And oneness. And then I like to add in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now. Okay. All right. We'll talk soon, Zorra. All righty. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. So we have Zorra now on the, let's get back to our call here, and let's go ahead and bring in Dr. Tom. Oh, I'm sure he has plenty to share with us today, seeing that things are so very imminent. All right, so let's go ahead and bring him in. Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
Good morning, Dr. Tom. And how are you doing today?
Super fantastic, to the 10th degree.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, why don't let's go ahead and get started. A couple of things I'm going to ask, just ahead of time, is to, again, do a little bit of a, besides the updates, is also about the process for different individuals and where they're coming from, so that they can understand what fits best for them moving forwards with this. So, all right. So I'll let you have the platform, and you and I will be talking through it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do a reverse here. I'm going to go over updates and procedures at the end, but I want start off basically, and I was listening in on Billy about reconnecting to nature, and I want to go over that because I'm going to give some simple information that that people can do for free, and also some little bit of help that we talked about, and then get them prepared, and then at the end we'll go, because it's really a must that these people do these things, especially what Billy was talking about, because it'll get us ready for the exchange. We have to reconnect. So I'll go over that briefly, and then we'll go over the updates and procedures and everything else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically, we need to get back and thrive again. We have to get our life force back. Especially for most of us who've been on this planet for plus years. At birth, we receive toxins, and as the children through diet and chemicals that are out there. So this toxic buildup, this toxic load builds up in the human body, and from food to chemicals to air to environment, and then the body becomes very acidic. So all of our electrical fields we can't connect to our higher spirit, our higher self, because this is what the rats wanted to do, was disconnect us so we couldn't get to our higher self, right? So we had to, they basically created an acidic environment, and that's where radiation can be absorbed. And that's where viruses and bacteria go to when your body's acidic. And then also, too, when your body's acidic, that's when all your emotional stress is absorbed into what we call your biofield. So it shuts down the immune system, and our life force is nothing. So I want to go over how we can get that life force back. And once you do that, you can do this within days. And everyone on this call has to do this. It's amazing what this will help. And we have our filters that we've had genetically inputted in us over a period of time. We have to create those. But basically, to restore your health back where you need to be. I had a great honor of speaking to Q yesterday, and he went over some things that were really exciting. He's here helping out too, and we're on the right path. We're getting there. So first of all, what you want to do is detox the body, and there's many programs out there. And also too, I'll give my email at the end, and I know there's some people I haven't gotten back to yet, but I wanted to help people out and get them guided along, so I'll do that at the end here. There's different programs, many programs that have been developed from Dr. Schultz and Rise and Shine, herbal formulas out of the Sierras. So once you clear all the toxins out of your body and become alkaline, then you can receive these information from the earth and from source. And you want to clear all your emotional patterns out too in that area. And so how do we do this? Well, as Billy was speaking, you go out into nature or your backyard and you do earthing. You get your feet on the ground, your hands on the ground, and it creates a negative charge. Because once in the 1960s, we started wearing these rubber shoes, and we lost that connection. Earthing, and you can now buy the mats from Clint Ober, and so basically the grounding reduces inflammation. It helps with your sleep, your circulation of your blood, your energy, your mood, your glucose levels, thyroid function, everything. I can't just go out 20 minutes a day 3 times a day or whatever you can, early in the morning if it's hot in your area, okay? And these negative charges are brought in through lightning on the planet, okay? It's all about chronic inflammation, and this grounding will restore your mitochondria so you can get to source and nature, but you have to do these. You have to start grounding, and you have to clear the toxins out of your body. Okay, really important, the mats, everything that I talked about there. And there's one program you can do in the morning. You get outside, and you put your feet on the ground, and you do 3 sets of breathing, 20 deep breaths, and hold, and then relax. Okay, that puts oxygen back into your body, and look into the morning light early in the morning, and then you're grounding. At the same time, you're drinking an alkaline drink. Okay, and there's many alkaline formulas out there. And so what this does is it restores your biofield and your energy field in that area. So then what you do is you go ahead and go out and make sure you exercise. You do 10,000 steps a day. You try to do weights, hike out in nature, try to get into a sauna, infrared sauna, or a cold plunge or a cold shower. Those are the little tiny things. Make sure you're eating whole foods, balanced, grass-fed meats, and if you are a meat eater, but eat clean, and that'll raise your vibration and your biofield up to where it needs to be. All right. So there's many more things. Also, too, I have a colleague of mine that I'm working with, and so basically you need to know how your body's running. And of course, many people on this call and can't afford these very expensive blood tests and everything else. So I have a colleague of mine that does a hair analysis along with your other tests that you get from your medical doctor. But anyway, we'll give information. I'll give my email out at the end. And it's very inexpensive, and it finds out what toxins you have in your body and what vitamins and minerals that you need to do. It's very, very inexpensive. So we'd like to provide that as a service and to help people out while we're getting ready here. But in the meantime, and I can do some consultations with people if they're interested to get more specific in this. These are all items that you can do on your own and that are free. So that's basically it. We want to get our biofield, our life force back into us, because when you go into your exchange, you want your body turned back on, okay? And it's so important that everyone does this, drinking the spring water, doing all these little things that we can kind of go over, okay? So anyway, that's that part. Now let's get into...
I just wanted,
yeah.
Dr. Tom, I just wanted to say that was absolutely beautiful. That was absolutely great regarding that portion of helping people getting back to where they need to be. Grounding is especially important. And getting out there, being in the sun, breathing in and exercising a little bit at a time. It needs, besides meditation also, so we'll talk a little bit about that later as well. But I think that was very, very informative. I know that people listen to you and they will take heed of that. And again, before Dr. Tom leaves, we'll get all of his information. So for those of you that are interested and would like to speak or get more information from Dr. Tom, he is here and available now to be able to help those individuals. So, all right, that was very good. That was excellent, Dr. Tom. Okay, so back to RV time, right?
RV time, yes. Well, let's break down where we're at. Very exciting. Right now, we really are in a great position. Of course, we've been saying this. A lot of us have been in this for 15 plus years. But what we're seeing right now, everything is set up. So I think we're getting pretty close. So if you look back, we look at the big picture. The Asian elders with Nasara Jasar, they had this plan that was interrupted many, many years ago. All the gold has been restored back to all the countries, verified, calculated, audited, and they also wanted all the rats gone, and they wanted to make sure when Nasara Jasar came about that it was safe. Because if you look back, when Kennedy tried to do this, Nasara Jasar, go back, they got rid of him. Look what happened to Gaddafi when he tried to go to Nasara Jasar in his country, go back, and knocked him off. Okay? And then they were ready to do Nasara Jasar again, and then 9/11 happened. So then these 300 alliance generals got together, many more. We don't really know who they are, but they said, now we're going to do it, but first we have to get rid of the rats. And they did, long time ago. Everything's processing. Now we're switching over. So all the bonds and the programs are coming out hopefully next week. They're getting information in there. So we have the blackout or the EBS coming soon, which would, and once again, we don't know what's going to come out. So take this with a grain of salt, but we do have to do these things. The Brunson court case, military, 10 disclosure coming, and then the GWMA is what is in control, and that's the Global White Hat Military Alliance. And they have done a lot of work making sure that the chemtrails now are, I'm leading up because you have to get all of this ready up before the RV. The chemtrails have stopped, and we're hearing, and I think Billy can verify this, that they're now spraying good stuff now. And we know about the 5G has not going to happen. So right now we're waiting for the world courts for approving all the payouts and exit procedures. A lot of the legal procedures for Restored Republic are being implemented. These all had to be put in before the RV. So we had devolution. So we had to clean out and take out these people who are committing crimes from the federal, state, and county and city councils. Mass corruption. Supposedly there's still about 400 sealed indictments, and that will probably happen hopefully this month. The world banks will be locking down the rates, and then the rates will go to the Forex, and then we'll have value days, and then we'll have email verifications immediately following that.
Very good.
And a couple other things here. So everything is done. The calendar hasn't changed. The master plan, the calendar, schedule of events are on schedule. Tier 4 should be receiving their funds and payouts hopefully mid-June or upon 4th of July. The bonds and investments are next week. Mid-June, we're looking at public benefits. And then also right now they're doing emergency funds to around the world to put out fires. So those are important. The banks are doing practice sessions, and you're hearing a lot of bank stories now. which we've never ever heard before. And also too, so they're also tracking this disbursement of funds into these world accounts, so we'll make sure it's safe in those areas. A gold standard announcement should be within the next 10 days. Meeting with the banks, identifying that they're going over for theft identification to make sure that everything's on the QFS. XRP will be running around the systems. So that's kind of where we're at. So we want to make sure that you're once again going back and just simply going out and grounding and doing those things we talked about in the first part. Also, so now what you want to do is just get all your currencies, look all over your stuff, get them ready to go, pack up your suitcase wherever you're going, get all your spiffed up clothes ready to go, and relax, and make sure when you go in that you say you want the highest rates, contract rates, whatever you got, okay, and just enjoy it, okay, and make sure that you do. I am hearing too, you have to have a trust if you want to do the projects with the Zim. Currencies, you don't need a trust. What we're hearing too. So that's kind of an update.
Okay. All right. So how about we talk a little bit more specifically about different individuals or, age, all right. So here's a question. For a number of people who may have a trust already and don't have the funds to be able to purchase more, but they have a number of the Zim, what would you suggest to them? That's number one.
Right. Well, I would say, as someone who's done humanitarian projects, we used to go to Mexico and work in the hospitals and do projects. I've run dollar practices and business-wise. 90% of the people that have these humanitarian projects and they're going to do this, I don't even think they'll end up doing, because it's so much work. If you do have a project, make it small, make it in your community, make it in those areas.
Right.
And then when you're at the exchange and you don't have a trust and you have Zim, then say, hey, I would like to have a trust made up, and I have a project that let's say you live in a small town in Kansas, and you want to help a local town, and they'll put together a program for you. Okay?
Exactly.
So it's all different levels.
I think there's a hesitancy in terms of, let's just go to the scenario that you just spoke about, somebody that lives in a small town, whether it's in Kansas or Iowa or something like that, right, out in the boondocks. And they don't have access. They have, I want to help with farming, for example, right? And they have, let's say they have 3 or 4 $1 trillion notes, right? 100 trillion notes, the Zim. So they haven't done that homework yet. So let's just say if it was me, and I don't have the resources at all. I'm not from a big city, and I just have a small bank here that's not unknown. I mean, that's unknown, but it's only local. So what would you suggest for me?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
I do have a car, so I can go somewhere, right? So that individual will still, if they listen to the calls or online or whoever they can hear, if you don't get an email, you'll still be given information so that you will know where to go to exchange. Also, when you get that information, you will also be given an 800 number that you can call. When you call that number, you let them know the situation you're in. You don't let them know how much you have. You just let them know whether you have a Zim or whatever currency. That may be all that they need to know. And then also your preference in terms of where you are, where you can go for a redemption process, not so much about the exchange, which is primarily for those that just carry, for those that only carry the other currencies, you know, like the Vietnamese dong, et cetera, or dinar, et cetera. So in that case, I would just wait. I mean, if I don't have a trust yet, but I know that this is going to be something that I would be able to help with, and I feel I'm able to be able to do that project, and you can't get a trust or don't know how at this late game, then don't worry about that. I think what's really important for people to understand is that if you already know and you have some business information, you know, that from your past or whatever, and you already have in mind, this is what I want to do, and yet you can't get to where you need to be at, you know, you just have to go there and say, I need, an assistant to kind of help me at this time before I go in, and I have some questions still. And that is all right. People, you don't have to be so fully prepared that you're going to be so anxious that, you know what, I think I'm going to fail or something. There is no failing in this at all. You know, you're given this opportunity because they feel that you have the know-how to be able to do this for humanity. It's about helping one another, helping humanity and yourself, right? So I just want to let people know they can just relax. If you don't have a trust, relax. You let them know when you get there, because you're going to have all of the people that will be there to assist you. That's number one. Now, if you already have the trust and you already have names of, you know, who you want to be able to contact, because right now people still are saying, well, you know, that's really a scam, and forget about whatever you're talking about. It's nutty, crazy understanding that you were given or whatever, and it's never going to come true, et cetera, et cetera. That's because they're still not in the know still, right, until the time comes. So in the meantime, and they can't tell you anyways because they're in training, and, you know, it's not time for them to say yes, you know, unless you have a really close relationship with someone already that has that information. So, again, I think that – go ahead.
So, Jane, to your point, so you go in to you do your exchange in some small town in Kansas City, and it'll say it's the Bank of America. Okay, and you have your little Zim and you have some currency, and then you want to do that. So what they do is each bank will have, if it's an exchange center, it'll have a wealth manager, and they'll usually have a company like Morgan Stanley, whatever. And so what they'll do is they'll say, "What do you need?" Well, I'd like to put up foundation and do humanitarian projects. So they will, over a couple of weeks, you'll have meetings with people who set all of those up. They'll sit down with you for your trust. They'll write up new trusts. They'll write up, you want to help the farmers in the local town. Then they'll have a trust team come in. They'll have attorneys. They'll have everything that are set for you, because they knew that millions and millions of people are coming into money. It's already being set up, so you don't have to worry. And you will be going over per month. They will sit down with you and say, okay, I have 10 million, donate to this homeless farming shelter or whatever. And they will work with you. They'll bring in all that they'll make a team for you. So it'll all be done. Okay? When working with Delton and the other people, we're just ahead of the group, because we'll be able to go in and go, okay, they're done. We get the expressway.
Exactly.
Okay?
Right.
Yeah. It is.
It's a
you don't have a
one. Right.
Don't worry about it. And you don't have to do humanitarian projects. Let's say you're 70, 80 years old and you just want to give your money to your grandchildren and help them out with their school or businesses, then that's what you do. And the bank will help you set those programs up.
You bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so that should be a relief for a lot of people. That's why they roll out that red carpet so that they know why you're there. They're there to help you and not the other way around where you feel like, I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do this. That's why they're there, each and every one of us, okay? It doesn't matter the situation that you're in. So that's number one. Now, the other thing that I know that Shelton has talked about and some other people have spoken about is in regards to family offices. Now, some of us have already understood about family offices, a little while back. Now, I don't think that's something, again, if you really don't understand family offices, that is probably the best way to try to work everything out, because you have everything all in it's like a one-stop shopping kind of a deal here. So maybe you could explain a little bit about, okay, well, I have a wealth manager over here at Wells Fargo, for example, right? And I have a legal attorney already that I've already contacted, right? And I already know a CPA from a friend that said, and I could do that, right? But then all of a sudden, okay, a family office, but I already have some things in place. Why should I have a family office? So what do you tell people in regards to that process? And again, you have all kinds of people that are going to be there at the redemption centers to be able to assist you with where things are at with you and help you to kind of sort things out. But I'd like to hear a little bit more about that, Dr. Tom.
Right. The family office, which I have my own family office that I've acquired over time. If you go in and you don't have a family office, but let's say it's only for people who have large amounts of currency and ZIM, right? And who want to do projects or businesses. So a family office, so if you go into the Wells Fargo in your Kansas City town and you have a boatload, and then the wealth manager will be getting information, you can request a family office. And what they do is, it's an umbrella. They cover all your businesses, all your humanitarian projects. They make sure, and let's say you buy 4 homes around the world, they make sure that those utilities are paid. They make sure that everything is done. If you want to fly somewhere and you want to make sure you get a car, they're concierge. They handle everything from taxes to attorneys to legal stuff to real estate. So they're mainly if you have a lot of stuff going on with businesses and humanitarian projects. They take care of everything. They surround this big giant umbrella that manages all of your financial needs, and it normally takes like 0.5% or 0.25%, not very much. And you get weekly reports of what's going on with your enterprise that you developed. So it's mainly for the super elite or the elite, but if you just don't have that much, you don't really need one of those. And if you don't have humanitarian projects or businesses, no.
Okay, all right, very good. I think also when we're talking about the family offices that have already been discussed as well with the Shelton Group, and there are certain ones, or trust companies anyways, that have been vetted. Just because he has those numbers of businesses or the names of those businesses that have them, and or talking about trust as well, that a trust company, I'm talking about not the trust, but the trust company, and you already know in your particular area of 2 or 3 that you know have good reputations, then you could go there. And you don't have to necessarily go with any one of the ones that Shelton has already vetted. Not everybody needs to do that. But if you already have one that you feel you can trust and you know their history, then do that. So this whole process, it should be a kind of a time where you can kind of relax going in, knowing what you want, and then you've got availability of these individuals who have the expertise to be able to help you with that. So, all right. So now the other thing I wanted to bring up also. So just recently, many of us have received information in regards to another company that has a family trust that is is abroad. So again, I would be my personal, and I spoke to Zorra about it already. So his question is, at this point for all of us, as we go in, we don't have to pay anything extra before we go in because we already have our currency, which is more than enough when you go in to pay for anything that you need, right? So if somebody else comes to you and says, well, I have a business and it's going to cost you $2,000 to get in, but you can be sure that I'm going to have somebody there with you to help you negotiate, and you don't know them from Adam. Now, I don't know about you, but that doesn't feel right for me. First of all, I don't know who they are. I don't know where their office is. I don't know what their history is, other than that somebody said that this is very valid. So I always lean on cautiousness in regards to anything that comes around to me, even in terms of people. Remember, the people that you associate with is very important. You know, when it's negativity and you feel unsure and you feel kind of doubtful about something, don't go there, because your energies, everyone here that listens to these calls, you have enough understanding in terms of using your heart. You're using your heart mind to discern what is best for you. Nobody else really can do that except you. So, but if you have questions, of course, you can talk to somebody else who may have more information. But I need to ask Dr. Tom what he feels about that. He personally feels. I'm just telling you what I said. I'm just telling you also what Zorra had said. Why would you want to do that? I mean, in regards to spending more money than you already have to get involved with something you really don't know much about yet. So
exactly. Well, I agree with Billy. Or
Zorra.
Yeah, and so this entity is a foreign country, and they said they can do negotiating with you. Well, number one is I've thought about it and looked at that, but the problem is why would you deal with a foreign country that's going to negotiate stuff with you and they're in a different country, and you have to pay in advance to belong with. I'm sure it helps. It helps people maybe if you live in Europe, but I would stay away with it. It may be good, but you really you don't want to have a foreign country that's going to tell you what to do, and they don't have the licenses here yet or whatever to guide you with all the taxes and laws and everything else like that. You want a family office or wealth managers that are here in the United States. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm just saying I've had a few people come up to me and say they're going to do. I said, why would you do that? So I agree with Zorra.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I think he really questioned about the money coming out of it when you already. I mean, if you're going into exchange and you got a ton of currencies and or a few of the gems, you've got money. Why do you need more, right? And ahead of time as well. It's almost like, I'm going to send you all of my currencies because I already know from hearsay that you're going to be able to take care of me. Be careful when that happens. That already has also happened to a large number of people who've had the TRB, went and bought it. They were scammed. So that's not a good thing to happen to anyone at this point. So be careful. And they're probably credible, but you know what? I will lean more on caution, at least for us.
Well, that's why you have to go with your heart and think not from your brain.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So no more worries wherever you are at. Do the best you can with where you are. If you feel you aren't able to do what you would like to be able to, that's when you go and seek some assistance, and somebody will be able to help to guide you in that direction. But other than that, you go in, you will get the assistance you need because they already know as they are being trained. But this is part of the big humanitarian project of healing and blessing our world. That's why we have this happen for all of us now. Okay. Anything else, Dr. Tom?
No. So I'd just like to
yes, please.
Just
give
share
them your
with
information, please.
Comments and every human being plays a vital role in their destination here, and we all work together in a kind of a unity and harmony, and everything becomes all possible, and peace and heaven on earth are here again, and we're going to get to know who we are and where we came from, get our memories back, and live to our highest potential, and be in our highest, purest possible self. And you really want to enjoy this time and use your be in the present moment. And talking to Q yesterday, a little bit about, stop these iPhones and computers, get away from that, get out in nature, reconnect, because these technology were designed to take us away from who we are. And so, Billy's comment about, I do that too. I lean up against this big tree in front of my house every morning and do my, all the neighbors are always looking through the window, and it's kind of funny. So that's kind of where we're at. Just enjoy the ride. We're in a great place, and, think from our hearts, love is coming, and what a great time to be alive. The new earth is coming.
And your information, Dr. Tom.
Yeah. So here, my email is APZ as in zebra, ORICH@gmail.com. That's Apple Tom, Z as in zebra, ORICH@gmail.com. And I work with a colleague of mine, Dr. Donna. She's a retired chiropractic physician. She has an MS in nutrition, a BS in nutrition, and a master's in herbology. I've sent many of my patients over the years to her when I was practicing, and she has amazing knowledge and uses very inexpensive, especially the hair analysis that they use, that can determine what's going on with your body. And we have that available. And it's kind of good because you really want things to be healthy. And also, too, you can email me. If you want to do a one-on-one, we can. I can give you the information for the detox programs and some other things to refine. Everything we're trying to provide to you is for your benefit, and we're almost there. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. I want to just repeat again, Dr. Tom's email. It's A like Apple, T like Tom, Z like zebra, O like Oscar, R like Robert, I like igloo, C like Charlie, H like Harry. Is that correct? ATZORICH@gmail.com.
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
We have.
All right.
Donna, and I'll send those back over to, if you're interested in the hair analysis, and she works with all of your blood tests that you've had, and then I can do a consultation. If you do want me to put you a little program together, I can do a small little fee on it. But these are stuff that are quick and active that we can do right now. And
beautiful. That's great.
Very fast. I can't tell you of the changes that you'll see just by simply going out and earthing and grounding.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh.
Everybody needs to get out every single day, out in nature. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Tom. Very, very good.
You're welcome.
All right. So we'll let you
And
go. You have yourself a...
Contact me. Don't contact Jane. Contact us.
Go ahead and email him, everyone. All right. Have a great, great day, everyone. And again, when you're texting Dr. or when you're emailing Dr. Tom, just go ahead under subject what you're interested in so he knows exactly what the subject is. Not just say, oh, I just want to chit-chat with you, or, you know, I'd like to get to know you more, or things like that. We're talking about business here, guys. So that's really what we're concerned about is your health, your well-being, where your heart is, and, you know, your higher self and everything beyond this 3D world in which we're in. All right. With that being said, thank you so much, Dr. Tom. That was fabulous on your part to be able to enlighten and help everyone that is listening to this, and for those also that will be listening in our future emails going out. All right. Thank you, Dr. Tom, again. Much love to you. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and put Dr. Tom now on. All right. All right. We have oh my gosh, we have a little bit more time, and as well, I do have oh, wait a minute. I better bring Dr. Tom through for a second. No, maybe not. Okay. So the next person we have is we're going to, I don't see any questions and answers for Dr. Tom. Hopefully we've got everything pretty well together there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our next guest, who is Sandy Whiteley. And let's, a minute. Let's see. All right. Ladies, darling. There we go. Hello.
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 Yes.
There's Sandy.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
I was hoping you didn't forget about us already, and you're not flying on a ship or so.
Oh, no, I didn't forget.
Okay, very good. All right, everybody. Now we have our wonderful other guest today. This is Sandy A. Whiteley, and she and I had spoken the other day as well, so we know some of the things that we're going to be covering today. But before we do that, everyone, if you are, and Sandy, again, tell everyone who you are. Now, I've already introduced you in our email that you really are an ET abductee. So, in our world, but you know more. I mean, give us a little bit more about your birth, if you, or your childhood or whatever, and where you are today, and then we can go from there. How about that?
Okay. I think my recollection started about 3 with a big cigar ship that didn't make any noise at all. And then when I was 8 years old, I was abducted. And it pretty much changed my life. In those days, you didn't really hear about any of this. And, of course, I was a child, so I wouldn't have heard about any of it anyway. So I kept everything to myself. But it changed my life so drastically that I was always looking over my shoulder. It was a terrible, fearful experience, and it put a fear factor in my life that just stuck with me on everything that I did. So that wasn't probably a real good thing for my childhood, but you grow up and you try to get around it. But I never was like other kids, ever. I didn't fit in with the boys. I didn't fit in with the girls. I had friends, but it's like some kind of a veil between you and the person. Like you understand things, but they don't know what you're talking about. So you tend to not want to speak because people don't understand you. So then you withdraw. So I spent most of my time in my home because it was a safe zone. But it wasn't even that safe because I'd look out the back window and I was just always aware that there was something on the back lawn, and sometimes a small craft might land out there, and they'd come right up to the back window. And I couldn't tell my mom and dad. So I was kind of caught no matter what I did. But I did, and actually my first boyfriend when I was 16 was also an abductee, and he showed me a book with kind of hieroglyphic-like writings, and we thumbed through it, and he took me to my first landed UFO. And there was 4 of us, and we were all so scared that we got up real close, and then everybody kind of screamed, and we all ran off. But I lived in Wenatchee, Washington, and on the backside of Mount Rainier there, as the crow flies, probably 100-some miles, and I just had stuff all the time. They were up above on the hills. They were coming and going. You could see them going towards Mount Rainier. So I just grew up with that and never said a word to anybody. And I never really thought whether it was normal or not because I had so many paranormal experiences inside the house with beings walking in and out of the front window through walls and huge things zooming, up in the sky. I'd get up in the middle of the night and just sit there all night and watch out the front window because I knew something was coming. And my mom and dad just never had a clue, but it was kind of an interesting childhood.
Extraordinary.
Well, certainly different.
Certainly different. Okay. All right. Well, if you could tell us a little bit more, if you will, this time around. Talking. You mentioned the word veil. Now, as you were explaining about what you were able to kind of see out your window and things flying around all the time and animals kind of coming up to you, strange things that most people wouldn't even see. So I could be looking out my window, and if you were with me, and you would see things, running around or flying or whatever, and I'm not seeing anything, right? So
yeah, it is different for every person. Yeah. That's true.
Exactly. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you are already at a realm where you're able to see what you see, whereas other people cannot see yet. Correct?
Yeah, actually, when I was a little kid, I'd sit out in the middle of the street on a metal chair and just look up at the heavens, and I can't tell you how many times I saw angels in the clouds. Giant angels. And the kids would play around me, but they, of course, didn't see anything because I was, kind of on a different level there.
You are. Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of used to all that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. So now that now that we have you here and you've gone through all of this, and now you're near 70 or so like that, you are also still very, very unusually different, from people that are here in 3D, right? So we can't see what you see. We don't realize what you really realize. All right. So understanding the separation between 3D, which is for where a lot of people are at least the masses for right now are still under a big, huge veil, right? But some people are already beginning to wake up. So
right. I think a lot are.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So if you take a look at the difference, What do you feel or see in terms of just the difference as far as what we call the veil? Can you describe that veil at all? Because you're already at another level. What you see here and versus where you are at and living here in this 3D world.
You know, I get up every morning at 4, do my work, and then I always have a study time, and I've been studying everything I can get my hands on. I've been studying quantum physics since the early 2000s,
Good.
trying to figure out this 3D to 4D to 5D thing, and I've actually come up with some pretty good things that apply to everybody. And I think right off the top, I think everything centers around our thoughts. I think when we see or hear something and it isn't uplifting, it doesn't, we get a feeling about it, don't engage with it. Don't buy into it, because that's what people are doing, and that's what's creating this veil. And if you question every single thought that comes into your mind, ask yourself, where is that coming from? Who's putting this thought in my mind? Because there's entities that will feed off your worry and fear. They love that. The whole thing with this veil thing and 3D is fear. It's all fear motivated. So we need, once we understand what's going on, then we can kind of counteract it. But every thought we have and every action that we do has a consequence. So we need to start by letting go of the past, any thoughts and feelings that take away the joy, and most of us don't have much joy left. When you live in 3D, there isn't a whole lot of joy going on. But we need to get rid of those things in the past that are draining our vitality, that are based on fear. That's where you start, I really think, when you're starting to battle 3D. And every single person is in the same boat. We've all been through it. We've all had hard times. It's very difficult to understand with all this stuff bombarding us day and night. And then I looked at the other part of it. Of course, we all know that everything that you look and see, feel and hear is a vibration or a frequency. And a lot of us can feel these things easier than others. But when you see a bad vibration, turn around and go the other way. You're not equipped to deal with them. They're much more powerful. When you see a negative agenda, try to remember and go back to love base, because love is always the strongest. It can absolutely get rid of any negativity. You've got to go back to the love in your heart. And if you see something, seek something that you really want in your life, there's a little catch there. And I think that's where a lot of us fail, because I've failed too. But you have to have a vibrational match and a frequency match for what you're seeking. And that's something we can all work on. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. I know, because I've tried to manifest stuff, but it didn't match up, so it didn't come true. And yet other times, it was just right, and you could feel that it was right, and then it would work out. And then there's one other thing that I think is really important, and that's how we make our choices. We make choices on our feelings, our emotions, our reactions, and our beliefs. And that's all entirely up to each one of us. Are we controlling these things, or is something else controlling these things? And then the bottom line of that is, how are we responding? Are we responding from our egos, or are we responding from our heart? And then the answer to that, of course, is it always comes right back to love. Be yourself, love yourself, accept the journey that God's given you. And the most important part, allow others to do exactly the same thing, because all you can really do is work on yourself. So if you want to kind of be comfortable in 3D, the little trick is let go of all your expectations, let go of your demands, let go of your requirements, live without fear and just trust God. And that's kind of how you start. And when you do that, you're automatically in the fourth dimension. And when you do things that bring such joy, you will feel yourself touch the tip of that fifth dimension briefly. Of course, we're not there yet, but there are moments that we're there. Because everything's possible. We can change everything we do by changing the state of our being. So that's kind of what I've come up with.
That was a lot right there. That was huge. Let's go back when you started talking a little bit about the fear and thought. So you grew up.
That's a really big thing.
So you were in a lot of fear then. So how did you overcome that as a 3-year-old or a 10-year-old, and feeling alienated, basically from everyone, including family? How did you outgrow, or how did you move from that to being where you are today? Or even what did you do back then to kind of get through it?
Okay, and the thing is, and this is like most of us, a lot of times we have to do this by ourselves. I couldn't depend on my parents or my sister. I had to do this myself. But I had something that I was aware of even when I was 3 years old. I had a presence of God in my soul that was there, and no matter what or how afraid I was, I always knew I had a backup. So even when it just got unbearable, I always turned to God. I always prayed. And even more than that, I believed. I believed I know the character of God, the character of Source is perfect. I know in a small way what that kind of love feels like, and that's what I depended on. That's the only thing that even pulled me through, because I'm telling you, I had to deal with demons. I had to deal with all kinds of different entities. Sometimes it'd even come out of the dang TV and surround the whole room. And it was so frightening that had I not had God in my life, they would have either taken me or I couldn't have done it. But God is always stronger. Love is always stronger than that. And that's how I dealt with it. And that's how I still deal with it.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about entities, and they're always, how do you feel or know when you have entities about you? And how do you deal with them?
Well, first of all, I always do. I've always got them around here. I had one like I told you the other night, I had a little 3-foot one that went right in front of the TV and out the door. So I've always got them around. But there's one thing that I do.
Go ahead.
Which ones?
Not the good ones. Not the ones that just kind of come around and then leave. They're kind of neutral entities. I'm talking about the ones that are not so nice.
Well, I'm I think that's one of my gifts. I can judge. I measure what they do and what they say, the truth with Source. And that's how you tell who they are and what their agenda is. If they have a bad agenda and you have a high vibration, they can't do one thing to you. They might try to get close to you or do something, but in most cases, they'll leave you alone. They can't. Their vibration is so low that they can't deal with a higher vibration. They can't go above the fourth dimension. So we're safe right there. So you can always raise your vibration, and that's what prayer's about. You turn to Source, you ask for help. You've got good entities, angels, and guides around you 24 hours a day to protect you. And I think we forget that sometimes, but they're always there to help. There's so many races that want to help us and prepare us for ascending, and for some of the glorious things that are going to take place.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what you just said. So you say, we've got all kinds of benevolent, loving beings up there and angels, because you can see them and feel them and all of that. So you're talking to somebody, let's say the rest of us, or me, let's just say me, and I said, well, what are you talking about, angels? what are you talking about? All of these people that are in the higher realms, when, I can't see them. I can't really feel them. Oh yeah, I could pray, but, I don't, how do I know, if that's really true, right? And so let's just say I'm an atheist, right? So how would you present that? How do you present that, you know what, you are really so loved? There is a being that is called Source or God who's always there within your spirit or your soul, whatever. And that's what really helped you throughout these many years. But then when you're talking about angels and other beings that are of the light, then it's almost like, okay, well, maybe I get to God because I went to Bible school or whatever, right? So how do you express that now to beings like the audience that we have here when you talk about angels? How would you describe, how do you elicit their help, or how do you bring them into your space?
Okay, first of all, there's several different types of people. There's people that say they're atheist. There's people that are totally demonic, and there's regular people, like us, that are kind of in tune to what's going on around. But every single person, I don't care what they are on this planet, they have been given something from Source. It's inside, and it can be activated. So when you tell them about these things, maybe it might, that's what we're here to do, is provide light. It may trigger that, because I've seen it happen. I've seen people that said they were atheists who turned out to be the best believers.
Exactly.
Because that's what it all comes down to, is igniting that little flame that you've been given, and then watching it bloom and blossom, and then they can provide light. But there are those, and you know what I'm talking about, they don't want the light, they will never get the light, and they'll never leave the third dimension. They don't want to.
Right.
So don't waste your time on them. Waste your time on people that have a heart and soul, because a lot of these don't even have souls. On people that have a heart and soul that you can see, that have love inside, that just need a little bit of help. We're just here to provide our love and light.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you see, when you talk to someone or have known of people that don't have light, how does that feel for you? When someone is kind of devoid of essence, because I could feel that. But how do you do that? How do you
to me, it's like hitting a wall, a vibrational wall, and you just want to back up from it. I can sense it's evil. I can look in their eyes and see what they are. Yeah. Sometimes their eyes are pure black, and you can sense, pick up a feeling for it. You better turn and run, because I'll tell you, these beings are so powerful. You don't want to pretend like you can, like in these movies, they'll pick up a cross, and expect the cross to protect them. It doesn't work that way. I've dealt with plenty of them. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble. You've got to be careful. And you have to make sure that your angels are protecting you so they don't come at you.
Okay, so let's just say I want to pray for angels to protect me. So how do you do that? How do you bring in your angels, and how am I going to know I have an angel really protecting me? Whereas because you can see or you could feel, right? So I tell my grandkids, you know what? All you have to ask is your guardian angels or your angels are always around you if you need some protection, or you feel like, you need a little bit of help, just call upon your angels, and then of course they believe because they're little bitty kids, right? But then how do you tell that to your grown-up kids, right?
Well, I'll tell you, just because people are in your family, they are often the most difficult to try to tell anything to. I think we've all probably learned that. So,
very good.
Russ Johnson and I, we have decided that we're just not going to tell our family a whole lot of stuff unless they ask. It's easier. But the thing with angels is that they are there, whether you believe it or not. They are there. When you came on this planet, you came with help. Source didn't send us here alone. We've always got protection, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but we do. But if you want an angel, ask for it. Say, God, would you please send me my guardian angel? I really need some comfort. I need to feel, just a little bit of extra support. All you have to do is ask.
Right.
But you do have to believe. You have to learn to believe and have faith, trust and faith. That's a really big thing, and it's not easy. 3D, nothing in this dimension is easy. It's just a battle from the time you get up till you go to bed.
Okay. So why do you think you're here at this time?
To provide light.
Right.
And as much help as I can give. And there's people like me scattered around. I'm a very strange one. But there's people like me that probably on the call that grew up with a lot of this, that didn't tell anybody, that were afraid, that didn't know how to deal with it. Well, I'm the kind of person that says, well, you can, I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
We've just been given different gifts. And the gift is, anytime you get a gift, it's to provide support for someone else.
Very good.
Sandy?
Yeah.
Sandy, I want one thing to say. You're emphasizing the word believe or belief. You don't want to do that. You want to go knowing.
Yeah, it's a knowing that
right. Absolutely, yeah.
Believe happens to be it's a constant seeking.
Yeah,
you're right.
Kind of
Totally
right.
Knowing is a better word. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, it
but
is.
But she meant to
word.
say knowing. Yeah, that's what she meant.
I know.
Okay.
But it came out believing.
Yeah, but you're right. You do have to know in your heart that that's true. You do have to do that.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk, if we will. I'm sorry, Zorra. Go ahead.
Angels, true angels, do not have wings. They have a force field around them that may appear as wings, but they're not wings.
Right. It's an energy.
That was brought. It's an energy.
Yes, it's energy
field. And they appear as wings, but they're not wings.
Yeah.
So angels don't have wings at all.
Okay.
That was brought about by King James Bible and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But and of course in the King James Bible where it talks about marvel not what I do, for greater shall you do if you only believe in my name. The in my name, believe in my name, are not the words of Yeshua. Those are the words of King James. He had to have his little bit in there in order for the Bible to be written. Therefore, he had to
kind of like most of the other books. There's always somebody throwing something in there.
Yeah.
Well,
including my book.
Anyway. Okay, well there you go. Anyway, so
okay.
Right. I will leave and go back on mute.
Okay.
Oh, right, you just talk anytime you want.
I have another question for you as I'm trying to kind of, and then I'm going to be bringing Zorra through, or bringing in Zorra and or Zorra. And the other thing that you and I spoke about, with especially because of the COVID and especially the vaccines, et cetera, and spike proteins and all of this crap and stuff, all the things that it was maliciously put and injected into so many people that were kind of unaware and, again, asleep because they just believe that the government or the CDC or whatever, they abided by what the government per se has instructed them to, that this is something that they have to take, the big pharma behind it all, et cetera. But anyway, so my question is, so we have a lot of people who have already ascended, right, who have already left their bodies, people that have already passed on. So in the case of that, so when people say, "Oh, I really miss so and so and so and so and so and so," and their passing has been very very sudden, and so people feel like they always have to go either to where they were cremated to feel like they're connected again, or go over to back to the grave and whatever. I'd like for you to kind of share with us in regards to the spirit, in terms of the spirit versus the human life, in which they actually, they were here in a body, but that's not who they really are, right? So how would you express to others that are probably maybe listening and are still missing their loved ones, right, like you have, and feel okay with it? Or do you feel like you have to go to the cemetery or to the, cremation area or whatever in order to feel Bill around you? So tell us a little bit how that goes for you, so that other people can feel like I don't have to go to the burial in order for me to connect with him, right? Because that's where his ashes are, or his body is at. Tell us a little bit about how you feel about your letting Bill just be Bill and have him around you, or just talk a little bit about that death and dying kind of thing of the body and spirit.
Well, I kind of look back on that, from how I dealt with it as I was growing up. And it's a funny thing, when Bill's dad died, it was such a shock, to the family that, but I still could feel him. He was still there, actually, for quite a while. And one day I actually saw him driving a pickup towards his old house, and he turned around and smiled at me, and then the truck went down and disappeared. So although people have passed on, Bill's kind of done this. He stayed at the house for a couple of weeks, and the second day after he died, Eric and I think it was Eric and I, we were in the living room and we were talking about him, and we could feel his presence. Pardon?
Is that one of your kids?
Erica, my daughter. Yeah, my middle daughter. And then he picked up something in the kitchen and threw it so loud, and we all laughed. And I know he got just as much enjoyment out of that. We saw him at the service, when he was in the casket. He was sitting in the back with his red shirt and hat on, and it was like there was a veil over it, but we could almost see him right there in the chair, and he was there with us then. I think they choose to stay for a while for comfort, but then they have other agendas. I don't know what Source wants them to do. He may have another plan for them to do right now, but we know that they're doing something, because the soul always returns to Source. So the body's just a vessel that we've got because we're stuck here in third dimension. But the actual soul and the actual essence is there. So you don't need to go to a graveyard. You don't need to go. I have ashes here too. I have ashes of my mom, all my animals, my sister, and Bill. I have all of them right here with me. But I don't go to those. If I want to be in someone's presence or feel that, I would meditate and try to do it from that perspective to get on a little bit different frequency, where you can see things a little clearer. Because they're certainly there. And they'll come and go. They don't want to visit, they can come and go. I've had animals come and go.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
Sandy?
Let's talk a little.
Yeah.
Can you tell people that are listening your traits as a hybrid? What your body has as extra and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Bill used to say, "Oh my gosh, you've got." He used to say, "You've got the ugliest feet." Well, they're not really that ugly, but I have extra long bones in my feet, and I have extra bones on top and extra bones on the side. And then, like Donna Anderson told me, she says, "Oh, you got those Pleiadian ears." Well, I have the tops of my ears are strange, and I've never seen them on anybody else, but they're just slightly different. My eyes are oversized, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to start looking like one of those grays, so I want to keep that in check. But I think it's a little more on the Pleiadian end of it, I hope. But as long as you mentioned that, though, I, as I've mentioned before, I was dealt with some kind of a super strength, and I still go to the gym every day. I use 110-pound barbells. I can max out, full weight stacks. And like I spoke with you before, I have picked up a car and set it up over a wall. I've carried a grand piano. I've done really some very strange things that only a hybrid could do. No human,
right.
I used to curl Bill at 225 pounds, baby. So it's pretty unusual, and I can't do it all the time. But you have to kind of, shift your energy to do things like that. But it's just part of the strangeness. So I have to be something real weird. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening that probably have the same things.
There are others like you, yes. They just need to come out.
We just have to be careful that we don't have too much fun.
Yeah, right. All right, so going back again to just the veil and people losing loved ones. So if you decided you wanted to talk to Bill, in your heart mind, can you kind of bring him into your space, and then you could feel like he's right there with you? Doesn't matter where
I can't always. I can't always. I think it depends on what they want to do too, whether they want to come.
Exactly.
Sometimes they come, and sometimes they don't. You can ask them, and say, if could you come and visit with me? If they don't, then there's a reason why. So we got to just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing to know, because even though you go to a grave per se, you may just be going to a grave, right? And the spirit is no longer there. The spirit is elsewhere doing whatever they need to do, in that what do you call it? In that realm, because you continue living, going forward even after you've dropped this body, or it's gone to ashes. So they have other things to do outside of this world. So
sure they do.
So yeah. So one doesn't have to do that. Always know that the memory is always there in terms of how much you cared and loved them, and but you have to also learn to let go. Everything about the past you need to learn to let go of. Anyways, even the ones that you've always loved, right?
Well, you've got to. If you want to go, if you want to ascend, you've got to let go of that stuff. You can't take it with you. You got to put yourself in a whole different frame of mind. Right. And that's why I said thoughts are everything. Your thoughts will control exactly what you do.
Okay. So for those that have already left, who've already lost a number of people in their lives, what would your suggestion be for them right now?
That person is gone. They're off on a new mission. Our job,
there you go,
is to look at what's happening. We're ascending from third to fourth dimension right now. Some of us touching the fifth every now and then. Our job is not to concentrate on what happened to them in the past. We've got to concentrate on today, what we can do today to be of service, because we're here to provide a service. We're here to provide light. We chose to come here to do this. Let's do what God gave us to do so we can get this thing wrapped up and get out of here. Actually, I'm looking forward to the fifth, where we don't have any money. We don't have to work and we can manifest it.
Okay, that's cool. All right, that's very good. I appreciate that. So that's so that people can know to let go at some point, really let go, and then really move forward in in a positive direction. Having been grateful for their presence in one's life. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that was it about angels. You can call upon them at any time, whether they're or your ascended masters that you know of. What do you think about people that are channeling? How do you feel about people that channel? The reality of it?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, I thought I would ask you. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of
I
that
watch.
is coming out now.
Yeah, I watch a lot of that. Now, anytime you're dealing with some kind of a spiritual entity or, being, you have to test their character. Because a lot of these people, I think they're picking up beings that are manipulating them and lying to them and providing things that aren't true. And it's very difficult sometimes to tell the difference. That's why you got to be so careful, because they can take advantage of you, put thoughts in your mind, make you think a whole different scenario than what it really is. I've dealt with a lot of those. Man, I don't know that they couldn't do it to me. They are so powerful. So I try to be really careful. If you stay heart-centered and God-centered, then you got a little extra protection. But man, it's not easy, because a lot of these channelers, it just sounds so wonderful, but boy, you got to watch out.
Right, exactly. Okay, and then be careful who you're listening to, who do channel. Right.
Yeah, because you're programming yourself when you listen to things.
Yeah. Oh, well, all the time. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You program yourself when you're listening to things.
Oh, Jane, I was in Chicago one time. We were right downtown, and the kids were in the back seat, all three girls. Bill was driving, and I was in the other passenger seat. And we were just talking 50 miles a minute. And the light turned green, and we went through the intersection. Well, a man ran right out in front of us, and we ran right over him, and Bill slammed on the brakes, and our mouth just fell open, and people just kept walking and doing this and that, and he drove up a little bit. Well, it wasn't even there. It had been one of the beings that was in the crowd. But this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be dealing with. And you can't believe your eyes. It just happened, but you can't hardly believe your eyes. And the kids, all of us saw it. There were 5 of us that saw it. Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of really strange things.
Strange beings as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
And they love this planet.
Yeah. And why do you think they love this planet?
Because this is special. From what I have been studying, human beings right now are the most advanced that they have ever been. We have been given more possibilities of things that we can accomplish than ever before. And a lot of these races don't have that, and they look to us on Earth as a learning tool, and then I think a lot of them want to be like us. They want to have these special things. And then there are, of course, those that want to take those special things. So there's always the good and evil side of it. But humanity is quite, and actually the Earth itself too, quite a thing. And I don't think any of us appreciate it probably as much as we could.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's the other thing. I think because of this 3D of the duality of good and evil, it's just it's caught a lot of us, I think, into like it can be really chaotic. It can be really very challenging, and so
it's exhausting.
Really, and we're ready to get out of here.
Yeah, it is exhausting. Every day is some kind of a battle.
Yeah. Well, listen, why don't we do this while we still have you? I'm going to bring, Zorra, can you bring your dad through? Billy? Did I lose Billy?
I don't hear him.
Oh, hold on a second.
Yes, I can.
I got it. Oh, hello. Yeah.
I said, yes, I can.
Ready? Oh, okay. Why don't we do that? And then we'll end our call here like in about 15 minutes or so. Thank you.
Beloved gods and goddesses, I'm here again.
Okay. So why don't we do this? I've got I've got Sandy and I've got you. I'm going to open up the board now for the next 15 minutes or so for any questions for Zorra and or for Sandy, our special guest. Oh, Sandy, tell them before we start this, before I open up the board, tell them about your book again and et cetera, something that you would like to be able to. Do you want people to connect with you? Do you want them to email you? Or how would you like to go forward with people trying to reach you?
Anybody can email me. I'm on it all day long. It's one word, myartangel, MYARTANGEL at AOL. I'm always there.
Okay. Again,
and
so
of course, you have my phone too.
Yeah, MY Art ART Angel ANGEL.
Right, one word. Yeah, myartangel at AOL.com. No, AOL.
AOL.com. Okay, sorry about that.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So now we have one person right now.
Angel.
Art.
A-R-T. I am an artist too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So MYART Angel ANGEL at AOL.com. Okay, everybody.
Right.
All right. We got a caller here now. 470 ending in 2988. Bring you on. Hello.
Yes. Hello. This is Viv. Can you hear me, Jane?
Yes, we can hear you.
Of course.
You have a question?
Yes.
Yeah. You have a question for Zorra or Sandy?
I have a question for Zorra, and I want to tell Sandy that I will email her because I was almost abducted myself, and Zorra told me why it didn't go through. But I have a question for you, Zorra, because I am communicating with my family and my children about why I'm here on the planet and what I'm doing, okay, from where I am. And I had a question today because I was trying to put everything together and communicating with them. Because we get a chance to choose our parents, correct?
Yeah.
Do we come to the planet? Okay. Do they choose, since we know everything, do they choose us because we are in this program with the RV and being humanitarians and the 144,000, and we're going to help bring everything together? Do they select us because of that, partially? They're aware of it, right?
Ask that question again. Who's aware of it?
Our children, when they select their parents, and they select us, they know what we're coming to do. Do they partially choose us because they want to be a part of that?
Well, they want to experience life. And so they come into this world to experience.
Hey, sorry, I can hardly hear you.
What?
Zorra, I can hardly hear you, Zorra.
But I put it on speaker. I went ahead and put it on speaker. You hear me now?
I hear something in the background. Are you on a speaker? You want to take yourself off of speaker?
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise in the back.
Is that better? I was not on speaker.
Oh, okay. That's a whole lot better.
Of course.
Okay, go ahead. All right. So what was your question again for Zorra? Something about your children. Let me see if I can paraphrase it. So you want to know if
let me
children...
explain it one more time, Jane. Hold on, Jane. Since we all know and we all get a chance to choose our parents, correct? And we all know what we're going to be doing before we get here, correct? All of us, correct? Are they aware that we are...
Necessarily. Understand, when you decide to come to the earth, you're coming here to experience life.
Right.
In whatever form it takes. And you don't necessarily know what you intend to do. That is something that you learn while you're here. So, no, you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing, but you learn while you're here to do what you must do.
Well,
you don't always know exactly what you'll be doing.
But did you not say that we write our scripts for what we're going to be doing? So we can edit those scripts?
No, you don't.
So we didn't write our scripts for what we're doing?
No. You create them while you're experiencing life.
Okay, and we can edit them though.
Of course,
okay.
But not before coming to the planet. No.
Okay, so we didn't know we were one of the 144,000 before we came. Is that what you're saying?
What?
We did not know we were one of the 144,000 before
what
we came?
There's more than 144,000.
Well, there's more than 144,000. Yeah, but we did not know we were part of that group?
No.
We didn't?
No.
Zorra, Zorra, can I just interrupt? Okay,
yes,
hold on.
Go ahead.
Okay. So one of the key things that many of us as light workers have know or have felt is that we came here purposely to come onto this earth to help humanity to ascend. That's why we are here at this present time in order to be able to do that. So we had a purpose in coming here. Isn't that correct?
Oh, yes, the purpose of coming here, but it was to experience life.
So it wasn't about helping humanity at all from the very get-go?
No, it was to experience life.
Okay, so so all of that is not correct. We all thought that we all volunteered to come here at this time. We all volunteered to come here at this time to be here for this ascension period.
Yes, of course.
So we did volunteer.
Yes, but not to the point of knowing what you're going to be doing.
Oh, we just volunteered to be here, and then hopefully it was going to take us on to whatever we're presently at, right? Because it could always change. You may have volunteered to come here, but then you went in a different direction, right? Okay. All right. I hope that was helpful. Okay. All right. All right. Vivian, I hope that was helpful.
Absolutely. Well,
okay.
You know what?
All right. Hey,
I've asked to be in 144,000 since I can remember. I've always asked.
Yeah, you've got to let go of that 144,000, please.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about like
the 144,000, that was one of the premises of the Jehovah's Witness.
Again, we're talking about a religion.
Again, yes.
Okay. And there are more than 144 anyways, so I don't know about that. Hey, Sandy, do you have anything else to say in regards to this, in regards to why we came here? Why did you come here? Did you volunteer to come here?
I think we made a choice to come here to serve. But if we knew all the answers before we got here, what's the learning experience? You have to create it along the way to learn the lessons so that you can help other people.
Correct. Okay. Thank you for that, Sandy. Very good. Okay. All right, next question is coming from 231, ending in 9300. 9300, you're on the air.
Hi, my name's Howard, and first of all, thank you, Dr. Tom, but Sandy especially, thank you for paraphrasing my life. Boy,
you want to say, amazing. What does that mean for you?
Well,
what does that mean?
I'm later in life. My body's older, but I didn't know until the last few years, and it came to me because of people like Ron Amatron and Q. You know, I realized when I was abducted. Terrible nightmares when I was young, and you know, but when I had no idea what was going on. All I know is that I was terrified and being held down and so on and so forth. Different parts of it. They're not all the same, but and that's advanced into now the thinking thing. And according to Ron Amatron and some, you know, that when we're in that mind and not in our heart, it's like being abducted. You know, these thoughts coming from everywhere. And but getting to a point to where you have a different perception of it, you know, and start to discern which thoughts are, you know, from what part of you, your heart or your mind. It's a real long procedure. I really like that thing, you know, that you're saying about volunteering to come here, and that my whole life has been about, especially in the last 10 years or so, realizing that I've come here to serve, and it's just something that's an enjoyment for me now. Whereas the first part of my life was pretty much, you know, it was all about me and what I was going to get and so on and so forth. And that was all just a compromise, my own integrity and my own self to try going along to get along. But at the same time, I came here looking for an advancement from previous lives to elevate myself. But I also came here very much as a rebel and an anti-authoritarian, if you may, and you know, asking questions and getting people mad at me and so on and so forth. And, but now, you know, it just comes down to my life is I'm still going back and forth a little bit and wondering what, and I know I have to go into my heart, and this is all helping that, but, you know, Ron Amatron talks about clearings, and at the same time, I feel like using the statements that they give me and so on is helping me do clearings too, you know, advancing my life force energy and things like that. But it's a little confusing sometimes. I don't feel like I've completely gotten rid of the abduction and the abuses that followed, you know, to the point that at the same time I congratulate myself because I know this is weird, but I thought I must have really been a threat to be attacked like that. You know, so I go, okay.
Hey, hold on a second, Ron. Let's have. I know that Sandy. Can you come into our conversation here with him?
Yeah, bless his heart. He's got a lot of insight. Good for you. Yeah, I know that whole abduction thing. It's very difficult, and you're not going to get rid of it. Luckily though, they block your memory to the most of the horrible stuff goes away. But you'll remember bits and pieces of it, and just turn it into a learning experience. You know, they did it for a reason, and it's over, and we learned from it. And you're really a smart person. You're figuring out how to do it. Just one thing, no matter who we listen to or who tells us this and that or what we read, always measure it against what you know to be truth from source. Because nowadays everything is so deceiving. and they're grabbing at any straw they can to keep control of this planet. And there's so much untruth flying around. You want to try to stay truth-based as long as you can.
Yeah, my discernment of psychotics has grown tremendously. I mean, just being able to pick up and stay away from them. You know, they're no fun. Anyway.
Yeah, you got to be on your toes 24 hours a day.
Oh, yeah. And thank you.
But I think you're doing that. You sound like you're doing a lot of that.
My hardest thing right now is most of my life is about lust, and now it's more about love, and keeping those two separate has been. Oh,
I can hear the love.
Thank you. Anyway, and thank you, James, Zorra, all of you. I tuned in today. I don't know. It's funny how you get directed and then you go, well, I'm going to listen to this. This is the day. And boy, has this been the day.
You have a lot of perception.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that too. Thank you. And having people in my life, I guess right now I want somebody real to me in this illusion or whatever you want to call it. Somebody, a partner, so to speak. Because
hard to find, isn't it?
I don't feel like I never fit in. I really, thank you for that too. It's just like, boy, I must be from another planet, whatever. And I was. So.
There you go.
But, and then I think as my vibration level increases, not only be able to see gnomes and all of this other stuff, but also the right person will, come along, a twin flame or whatever, just like you talked about. A mermaid show up someday.
Sounds like you're doing pretty good.
Well,
you're sure on the right track.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
And,
all right.
I look forward.
Yeah. Thank you for calling. You have Sandy's email, so maybe you two can connect. Just to kind of keep each other on the. And I know that Sandy has gone through so much. I know that she could be helpful for you and other people like yourself as well. And do email me. I'd like to hear from you. That'd be great.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I got this My Art Angel.
Right.
One word.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you much. I appreciate it.
I'm always there.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling in. That was very good. All right, Sandy. Thank you very much for that. Anyone else that would like to go ahead and connect with Sandy, go ahead and email her at myartangel@AOL.com. We only have 5 minutes left. I've got I got a text here, everybody, and this is for Zorra from Matt, and he wants to know there's apparently going to be just talking about the RV, that there's going to be some sort of an imminent lockdown that we're hearing about. Supposedly, it's to help to eradicate all of the bad guys prior to our RV or our busings. We are supposed to not be able to leave our homes for 9 to 14 days. So can you give us your take on that, Zorra?
What? 9 to 14 days?
Yeah. So there's going to be a lockdown. Remember the what do you call it? Probably part of the EBS. But we're not supposed to leave. There's a lockdown. We're not like a martial law where we're not going to be able to leave our home for 9 to 14 days. Do you know that to be true?
Another fear tactic.
Another fear factor. Okay. All right. We're not going to worry. We're going to be in joy as all of this is coming to fruition, because I know between you and Q and all of the higher ups and all of our wonderful angels that this process of the RV is going to come through very nicely and as you would like it to be, right, Zorra? Nice and
Correct.
yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Talking about the RV, now that we also have Sandy here with us, what are your thoughts about the RV coming in very imminently, and how do you see that proceeding?
I know it's already started. When it'll really hit here, I don't know. There's so much political mess going on that I think it kind of interferes sometimes. But when there's a plan that's going to go through, it doesn't matter what happens around you. It will go through when it's supposed to go through. So I just trust in things like that and relax. There's no reason to get all upset and all emotional over all this, because it won't do you a bit of good. It will happen when it happens, and you might as well sit. And if we get locked down for 14 days, great. I will just crochet another sweater.
Oh my!
It won't bother me in the least.
Okay. All right. With that being said, Zorra, we only have like 3 minutes left. Do you have any last words
if you were to have a lockdown, that would be a ideal time to do a lot of meditation.
Absolutely.
Talk to people about meditation, Zorra, because I know that is a really key thing for everybody to really know. And Sandy.
Well, I understand this. I had a conversation with Q, and I straightened him out as far as what is the importance of meditation. Now he firmly agrees upon what I have told him. So those of you who have been told by him that you shouldn't meditate, you can turn that around and go ahead and do it anyway, because it's good for you. So, and he agrees 100%.
Well, if you want to change vibration, and you really have to meditate to put yourself in a frame to be receptive. How are you going to do it if you don't?
Exactly.
You have to do it.
Right. That's my feeling also. And I think he was going on the premise that because Zorra doesn't meditate and Q don't meditate, because they're already at a higher level of frequency. So
well, they're already ascended masters. They don't need to do what we have to do.
Correct. Exactly. And I think that was where the misunderstanding was. So,
yeah.
But anyways, okay, everybody's going to go meditate now. And this was a fabulous call with Dr. Tom. He was great. Sandy, you were really great. And I mean, both of you were really great. And just having everybody together here for this beautiful call has been such a blessing for all of us. So with that being said, much love to everyone. Much love to you, Sandy, Dr. Tom. And again, much appreciation to you, Zorra and Zorra, to making all of this happen for all of us. And great blessings coming our way now with a lot of love and peace and joy. So with that being said, we shall end our call. Thank you so much, everyone.
And to the fathers out there, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Is that this weekend? Is that this weekend? Oh, my gosh. I don't think it's this weekend. Is it? No, it's this coming weekend. Yes.
It's the 17th, I think.
Right, yeah. Something like that. Who pays attention to the numbers anyways, right? All right, everybody. We'll let you go. Much love to everyone. We'll see you the next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Zorra.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Will Coleman, CEO of Alto. As a husband and a father, I built Alto to be the rideshare I was comfortable with for my family. Download the Alto app to experience the safest, most consistent, and most hospitable ride on the road. Trust Alto's professionally trained employee drivers and company-owned fleet of luxury SUVs for your family too. Your first ride is free with code TRYALTO. Download the Alto app or visit ridealto.com/radio and use code TRYALTO for your first ride free.
It doesn't make sense to break up with your one and only unless you're falling for something saucier. Something with a crispy southern breading and one extra ingredient. Something that makes your taste buds tingle. Yeah, it's time to dump your old wings and get a new honey lemon pepper wing from Popeyes. And if that's not your type, don't worry. We've got 5 other flavors. So saunter down to Popeyes and get a 6-piece for just $5.99. We don't make sense. We make chicken.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
At participating U.S. restaurants, price may vary.